68-year-old Harvey Lembo is proof once again that one voice can make a difference. He lives in a public housing community in Maine, and his home had been broken into 5 times, so he decided to buy a firearm for personal protection. And sure enough, that night, he was the victim of another home invasion and was forced to use his firearm. But when Harvey's landlord found out, he threatened to evict Harvey, demanding he surrender his rights or find another place to live. But Harvey said, "Not me," and was determined to fight this all the way to court. Then when lawmakers heard his story, they stepped up and passed a bill that Governor LePage just signed, a law that now prevents landlords from denying their residents who live in subsidized housing from owning a firearm for self-defense. State Senator Andre Cushing led the charge on that legislation and told me, "It's clear, your address or economic status should never determine your constitutional rights." Take a look.
After everything Harvey's been through, they really ought to call this the Harvey Lembo law.
Mary and I high-fived. It was very gratifying to know that I'd done something to help other people that are in low-income housing have protection when they're getting robbed left and right.
He has nightmares, he doesn't sleep. It's awful that the man has to live like this.
Harvey was the spark. Here you have a disabled individual in a wheelchair, a former police officer, someone who served our country, that had to use the means of defense that is guaranteed under our Second Amendment. But it's a scary thought to think that you're going to sacrifice your rights because of economic conditions.
Low-income housing, so what? They're still equal to us.
I should have the same rights you do.
His fight is our fight, because anyone in this country, whether they are in their private home or in a subsidized home, should have that right to protect themselves.
I was in the bedroom, sound asleep. Saw a shadow out of the corner of my eye. I said that was too high a shadow for a cat. So I reached between my pillows, grabbed the gun, got my wheelchair. I stopped right here, and that's where I put the gun on him. It was right there where the medicines are, looking at my pills. And that's when I said, "What the F are you doing here?" And he says, "I'm here to rob you like everybody else." I made him go sit on the coffee table. I had the gun pointed at him, and I dialed 911, and he kept pointing his finger at me like that. I had the 911 operator on the phone. As I was talking to her, I just said, "If he moves, I'm going to shoot him." But at that time, he made a lurch towards me, and I shot. Shot him in the arm as he was going out the door. I didn't have no choice. The officer kept patting me on the back, saying it's going to be all right.
But your landlord said the reason they have a no-gun policy here is because they think it makes this community safer. You're living proof, aren't you, that it doesn't?
Yeah, that's baloney. I've been robbed 6 times. How do they make it safer?
No, the people that live here can't rely on the management or the landlords to keep them safe.
He's at the mercy of predators. To say that having a gun-free zone is a good thing, for him, is just a sign outside that says, "Hey, I'm disabled, I have medications, come rob me again."
The landlord, he doesn't care. He just gets his money. They walked in here with a piece of paper the very same day. An eviction notice. That's America.
Did you ever think a bill like this would get to the governor's desk and be signed?
I knew it would be a tough haul, but I heard from a number of people. I heard from people who stood up and said, "We want to make sure our people here have that right to protect themselves."
Don't defend yourself, just sit there. I don't think so. I'm on the first floor here. If somebody broke in here and had a weapon and you have nothing to fight back with.
What happened was there was a Supreme Court decision that said public housing authorities cannot prevent people from exercising their Second Amendment rights and owning a gun, but there was a gray area for people who lived in subsidized housing. Our bill extends that. So we've just empowered 1,400 tenants in this system, the subsidized apartment, to have their Second Amendment rights back.
I know an old lady the other day, just because of this law, went and purchased a little 25mm handgun that's only about that big. But it'll knock a guy down. That makes you think about it. Well, them drugs worth a 22 pistol round.
One lawmaker who wasn't sure she was going to support this legislation said, "Can we really make a law based on what happened to one person?"
One person? It's on the news every night. She don't belong in the legislature.
Whether it's for one person or 1,000 people, the law needs to respect the rights of the individual. Having a firearm is the one equalizer that says that if you come meaning harm to me or my family, I have the means to protect myself.
The crime problem is the judges don't do anything. The other criminals have more rights than we do. You know what the guy got for the first time he robbed me? They gave him 6 months and he did 30 days. That's justice. 30 days is justice.
Criminals, they don't get the time that they deserve, but yet the victims have to suffer the rest of their lives in fear. It's not fair to them at all.
What do you say to the anti-gunners, though, who say, what do you need a gun for? Just call 911.
I called 911. They sent the car, but it was too late.
The 911 call center is 55 feet from this property. It didn't help Harvey.
Sadly, I hope that individuals who feel that gun control is so important that you don't need a gun will never be faced with the situation themselves. Because the tragedy is knowing that you need something and that you denied yourself the right to be prepared.
Every second counts. If that man had a weapon on him, he could have killed me. I'd be a dead man today.
So I hope that what this law does is clearly send a message to landlords to respect the rights of the individual who rents from them, respect the Second Amendment.
I'm proud of Harvey. I'm glad he's not giving up. And fighting for his rights is gonna help a lot of other people too.
I went into the military to make this country free, not thinking that at 68 years old that I don't have any rights. Thanks to the legislature for giving us a chance.
Mr. Lembo is really a compelling reason why we need our Second Amendment rights. I think what's important, though, is the spirit of fighting for what's right needs to continue. So we're very grateful for the work that the NRA put in to help educate people on this issue. People in future generations need to understand what the price is that we pay when we sacrifice our Second Amendment rights.